9 different jobs in pro wrestling. I've got 9 hacks, one for each, and it's coming up next. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. Throughout my 30 years in pro wrestling, I have worked not only as a pro wrestler, a referee, a ring announcer, and a commentator, but also as a promoter, booker, agent, coach, consultant, and a bunch of other things. I've been the guy that sweeps the ring before the shows. I've been the guy whose only job it is to get the wrestlers to the hotel after the card is over. I bring the sum total of all these experiences I've had, and I serve it up right here to you, week in and week out on Till We Make It. And if you're down with that, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and join the Till We Make It tribe. Subscribe right now. I want to shout out my newest patron. Welcome aboard, Anoki the Shaman. We are glad to have you as part of our community. Thanks for joining this roll call of my awesome patrons. It could be you joining that roll call. It could be you I'm shouting out in next week's episode. Follow the link, which you will find down below in the descriptus, and come join us over on Patreon. I want to call on my long and varied experience in pro wrestling for today's episode, offering up 9 hacks for 9 very different jobs. And I am not here to tell you that I'm expert at all of them. To be quite honest, I think I was a pretty lousy referee. I just did not dedicate enough time to getting any good at it. Nevertheless, these are simple hacks that you can implement immediately. This first hack is for those of you wrestling as a heel. Choose a cutoff that supports the story of your heat and aligns with your finisher. You know what I mean by this? Let's say, just as an example, your finishing move is a brain buster, which attacks the head and neck. That means that the story of your heat of Act 2 of your matches is going to focus on wearing down the babyface's head and neck in preparation for that finishing move. So choose a cutoff that supports that story and aligns with your finisher by cutting off your babyface at the head and neck. It will instantly make your matches more congruent. This is very top of mind for me because I'm writing a section of my brand new book on this exact topic. It's too early for a cheap plug. Moving on. This next hack is for you referees out there. Keep a folded up paper towel in your pocket for the entire card. If you end up having to snatch a contact lens off the canvas, putting it in that paper towel will make it so much easier to find once you're backstage. Or if it's up to you, to grab that chewed up piece of gum or that drooly mouthpiece that just fell out of somebody's mouth. You don't want that rolling around in your linty pocket. Stick it in the paper towel, and later on, you're gonna seem like a seasoned pro. My next hack is for you bookers watching out there. When it comes time to start designing the next card, get out a piece of paper, split it right down the middle, and list all the baby faces on one half and all your heels on the other. Make priority number 1 creating the matchups which are necessitated by story or are on a strict timetable. Like that champion wrestler who just gave his notice and has to be written out within 60 days, that's got to take top priority. But priority number 2 will be to use all the remaining players to create the best possible in-ring matchups. You want matches which will deliver, because a balanced card of wrestling has as much storyline advancement and character development as it does quality in-ring action. Every single week, my patrons get a video which you'll never see here on the YouTube channel. The crawl that's on screen right now, these are actual topics from Patreon exclusive videos that only my patrons ever get to see. Each and every week, they get advice from me. I call it Tidbit Tuesday. Access to excerpts from my books like 7 Keys to Becoming a Better Performer and Toolbox Building Better Pro Wrestling. Yeah, they get that. Early ad-free access to all new episodes of Till We Make It. They get that too. My master tier patrons, they're on a Zoom call with me every single month going over matches and promos. My Troubadour level patrons, they get access to my complete podcast series, Kayfabe 2.0. You want to jump in our Discord? You want to be part of our community? You want access to, this is the actual number as of this morning, 932 posts all about professional wrestling. It is a gigantic vault of wrestling knowledge. And I'm not selling this for $199 a month. You can get a membership for as little as $5. $5. Is your future success in pro wrestling worth $5? I bet it is. So jump on the link down below. We'll see you over on Patreon. Come and be part of our community. Let's go. My next hack is for ring announcers. If you work from index cards, you will take only one index card into the ring at any given time. Take only the card pertaining to the very next match and nothing else. Leave the rest of your stack backstage or at the timekeeper's table or wherever, and then you'll switch it out while the match is live. It makes you look a whole lot less confident when you're standing in the ring, shuffling through all your index cards, trying to find the one that's relevant. And it really doesn't look great if you make the mistake of dropping them in the middle of the ring, and then you've got to bend over and pick them up in front of the entire live crowd. One index card maximum while you're in the ring. And reading off your phone, that's for amateurs. This one's for you promoters out there. Fans will come back if you leave them wanting more, but some fans will never come back if you leave them feeling overstuffed. So rather than spending money on 2 more wrestlers so you can jam 1 more match on that card, take those dollars and dedicate that to your advertising. Here's why I say that. If you leave the audience wanting more as they leave your event, advanced ticket sales for the next card will go that much quicker. But if you leave them overstuffed because you presented too much wrestling, there are casual fans who will never return for another serving. And some of those casual fans will prevent your regulars from coming back because that's who they travel with and that's who they socialize with. If that happens, you're looking at fewer ticket sales, a smaller house, and thus a smaller gate. I've got a hack for you ringside managers out there. Don't imagine that learning how to back bump only will be enough to get you through an entire career. You're also going to have to learn how to take a face bump, sometimes called front bump or plancha, as well, because guaranteed at some point you are going to need that skill and you want to be able to perform it safely. By learning both how to fall on your back and fall on your face, you can always show up in service to whatever the match needs and look like a total veteran when doing it. And I've got one for you pro wrestling coaches out there. Your rules in class must have consequences. If you tell your trainees the only acceptable response while training is, "Yes, coach," and then they don't, there has to be a consequence for that. If you tell your trainees that all cell phones are to be silenced before training begins, and someone doesn't, there has to be a consequence for that. If there are no consequences, what you are teaching your students is that rules don't matter. If you work in pro wrestling as a commentator, this hack is for you. At the end of each segment, you're going to pose a question that points to an open loop in the storytelling, and you can write these out in advance as soon as you know what the card is going to be. It's our job to keep the fans interested by making them wonder what happens next. And you can do this by directing them to think about a part of the story over which there has been no closure. Here's an easy example. With this win, Zatara becomes #1 contender to the title. She's proven she has what it takes to rise up through the rankings, but does she have that extra special something it takes to become a champion and finally cement herself as the very best? Open loop questions like these excite the viewer's imagination, and when you do this type of work, you are helping to keep fans engaged with the storylines. If you're wrestling as a babyface, this one is for you. Remember that the moment you stop selling is the moment they stop caring. You know what I mean by this? If you just took 5 minutes of heat on your left arm, and then as soon as your comeback begins, you just stop selling your arm as if it has magically healed itself, that is the moment that fans check out. Don't expect there to be any emotional investment as you proceed toward your finish, because the moment you stop selling is the exact moment they stop caring about your struggle to overcome the heel and to win the match. Did you learn something from today's video? Tell me about it down below in the comments. And if you like this style of video, I would sure like to hear from you. This is also another call for you to leave me a comment down below. Were you ambivalent about today's episode? Tell me about that down below in the comments. If you want to keep leveling up your game, you want to enhance your next performance, I've got a whole playlist dedicated to this exact topic. It's popping up on screen for you right now. So too is an orange box which will take you to my Patreon. You can literally click on it and go right there, right now. Please do.